Hello everyone, and welcome back to Unboxing Theories. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Jahan's teaser video. So I did say that I would want to talk about that, and I am excited to talk about that. This teaser video is a little bit harder to talk about for the simple fact that not a lot happens. In past teaser videos, we've seen something happen, like Louis with the what we assumed was blood, which made us kind of believe that he was a vampire. With Mujin, we had the ghosts that popped up behind him, which of course we later learn were the demons that were in his kingdom. For Ascension, we saw Dan shooting an arrow into the, it looked like an army was coming or an enemy was coming, right? Really, Jahan's one reminds me a lot of Chiu's one, where really, for Chiu's, it didn't give us any hint at all of what we were going to see. It was just a look at the king himself. And I feel like that's really what we're getting with Jahan's. We're just kind of getting a look at the kingdom and the king, which is not a bad thing. However, let's, even though we don't see a lot, we're going to definitely talk about him. So even though we don't see a lot happening beyond the way that Jahan looks, we see him alone in a desert. His outfit is unique and very stunning, as expected, very much like his outfit in Excalibur. That's what it reminded me of. So even though I can't make a lot of notes from the teaser itself, we're going to go back to past music videos and kind of take a look at some of the things we know about Jahan. Now, I've made an entire video on this called The Characterization of Jahan. Please be sure to check that out if you want more in depth. This is just going to go over a couple of notes and a couple of new things that I've noticed from the most recent music videos as well. Because even though I can't take a lot from the teaser, I can kind of make guesses of what we might see from Jahan. So these are pure guesses. Literally none of this could be true, or maybe some of it's true in some way, right? So number one thing that I've talked about with Jahan before is that he is the guardian for the other kings. He's often seen with a sword or his knives as a protective figure for the other kings. So I've deep dived into his characterization before, like I said. But he's usually kind of like this guardian figure, and I'll check out the other video to go more in depth as to why that is. For the second thing, there are some recurring and very interesting choreo beats for Jahan that I think are very important. I've noticed this especially with this past music video. Maybe you all have noticed this as well. The first one is the one where he is often standing behind the main king and his arms are intertwined or moving around him in some way. This is seen in Karma with Chiu. This is seen in Long Live the King with Louis. This is seen in, did it happen in Dystopia? I feel like it did happen in Dystopia. Oh my gosh, now I'm like racking my mind trying to remember all the choreo. I did write some of them down, but I didn't finish writing them down, I guess. But this happens frequently, and we can recall these choreos, right? So Jahan just seems to have this interconnection. So this could show his strong connection to the other king, his loyalty and devotion, like in the way that he's the guardian, so he's kind of like entwined in whatever that king is doing. He's there, he's got their back. Or perhaps it can show an entanglement that is mysterious and not entirely certain. Maybe he's more like, entanglement kind of makes you think maybe there's potentially some nefariousness in there somewhere. Now, for me personally, I don't think Jahan is at all nefarious. I think Jahan is probably one of the most sturdy and stable kings of all of them. But, I mean, I'm open to anything happening. We don't know what's going to happen. It's a big mystery, and I can't wait to find out. Secondly, in Black Crown and Dystopia specifically, we get almost the exact same scene in the choreo. Jahan standing while the other kings are down, and he's singing an eerie song. This song seems to rouse them to their feet, but almost like he's puppeting them in a way, or using magic to wake them from near death. The Dystopia part, the part in Dystopia, feels very puppet mastery. And there could be a darker side to Jahan's character, that his devotion and loyalty might be a way to keep them close. Maybe he knows the shadows the other kings bear, and he feels the need to keep them in control in some way. There's a lot of different ways to look at this. And the one in Black Crown, it just feels very like all of them have fallen, right? They fought a huge battle. Fate and Chaos fought a huge battle. They'd all fallen except for Jahan, and he just kind of rouses them with this song, almost like he's raising them back up from having fallen, right? It's very mysterious. So these are two really strong choreo beats, and for me, the choreography is just as important as the music video itself and the scenes that we get to see. So I think it's very important to note these things and that they may come into play with his character. Beyond that, I don't have a lot to go off with Jahan. Obviously, I think his past characterization of being a guardian is definitely going to come into play. However, when the kings become, the main character king, things change. We learn a lot more about them, and we discover a different side to them in a lot of ways. I think that Jahan will be definitely more like a Dan king, where he's just, he very stable until, obviously bad things happened, but just a very stable and kind king. I think that's what we're going to see from Jahan. But his mysteriousness and the mysteriousness that they've left us with is definitely going to raise a lot of questions, I think. And honestly, I kind of like the more mysteriousness. I can't wait to see what happens. But I think that these things that we've seen from Jahan in the past will definitely come into play in the future. Whether it's, all good and, we're seeing him in a good light, or if there may be a darker side to Jahan that we don't know about. I can't wait to find out, honestly. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. What were some things you caught in the teaser? If there's anything I missed that you think is important, please note it. And if there's anything else about Jahan that you're like, hey, you forgot to mention this, do bring it up. I love to hear what people have to say. I'm so excited to see what Jahan's era is going to bring us. I think it's going to be stunning. I think there was absolute purpose why he was intended to be the last king before, moving on to the next. But obviously we have Juan now, so he's not actually the last. I'm so excited for Juan's era as well. But I think Jahan's is going to be a really big pivotal, his era is going to be a big pivotal moment. So I can't wait to find out what that'll be. So I'm sorry this video is so short, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed those little ideas. Maybe that'll get some things percolating. And you let me know what you think. Thanks, guys. Have a great